My keys in the fridge. A brain glitch story. I once walked into the kitchen with a singular, urgent mission: to get a spoon. To get a spoon. I remember the purpose feeling crystal clear as I left the living room. Yet, the moment my feet touched the cool kitchen tiles, the thought evaporated like mist. I stood there, utterly baffled, staring into the pantry as if the answer might be hiding behind the cereal boxes. My son, who shares my wonderfully unique brain wiring, found my car keys, nestled behind the milk carton in the fridge 2 days later. We both erupted in laughter, a familiar mix of amusement and recognition. After the giggles subsided, we looked at each other and asked the question that has echoed through our lives. Why on earth does our brain do that? It's a question that can bring frustration, confusion, and sometimes a deep sense of inadequacy. Before we dive into the fascinating mechanics of it all, a quick and important note is in order. I am not a medical doctor, and this essay is a reflection of my personal experience and the knowledge I've gathered on my journey. It is meant to be a conversation starter, not a diagnosis. For any medical advice or treatment, it is absolutely essential to consult with a qualified healthcare professional. This is our story, and I hope by sharing it, we can all feel a little less alone in ours. So, let's get back to that baffling brain of ours. Why does a simple intention like getting a spoon vanish into thin air? Why do keys end up in the refrigerator? Or why do we start 3 different tasks at once and finish none of them? These aren't character flaws or signs of not caring enough. They are the signature marks of a brain that operates on a different, often misunderstood, set of rules. It's like having a high-performance race car for an engine but the steering and braking systems of a go-kart. The power is there, but harnessing it requires a special kind of driver's manual, one that we often have to write for ourselves. Understanding this why is the first most powerful step toward changing our relationship with our own minds. It shifts the narrative from one of personal failure to one of neurological difference. When we can look at a moment like finding keys in the cold, next to the orange juice, and respond with understanding instead of shame, we begin to take our power back. This journey is not about fixing a broken brain, because it isn't broken. It's about learning to drive the magnificent, quirky, and powerful machine we were given. The overwhelmed control tower. Understanding executive functions. To really get what's going on, let's think of the brain's prefrontal cortex as the control tower of a massive, bustling international airport. This control tower is responsible for all the executive functions. It's the calm, organized hub that manages every single takeoff and landing, directing planes, directing our thoughts and actions, managing the sequence of arrivals, prioritizing urgent flights, keeping everything running on a smooth, efficient schedule, memory, planning, impulse control, emotional regulation. When this tower is fully staffed and everything is working perfectly, your day feels manageable and orderly. You remember your appointments. You can start a project. You can see it through. You can handle unexpected turbulence without a major crisis. In a brain with ADHD, however, that control tower often feels short-staffed, under-caffeinated, and perpetually overwhelmed. The radio channels are crackling with static, the radar screen is flickering, and the controllers are trying to juggle too many planes at once. This is why small, everyday tasks can feel monumentally difficult. Guide a plane to its gate. Another plane tries to take off without clearance. A third circles endlessly because it forgot where it was supposed to land. That's why you might walk into a room and forget your purpose, or struggle to stop yourself from blurting something out. It's not a failure of willpower, it's a traffic jam in the control tower. This analogy helps us see that the issue isn't a lack of desire to be organized or on time. The intention is there, the plane wants to land safely. But the guidance system that helps it navigate the complex airspace of daily life is experiencing significant interference. This is the core of executive dysfunction. It affects our working memory, which is like the sticky note on the controller's desk that holds temporary information. For the ADHD brain, that sticky note has very weak glue. Information like, get a spoon can fall off before the mission is complete. It's a constant, exhausting battle to keep the airport running. Understanding this control tower concept is a game changer for parents and partners too. When you see your loved one struggling with messiness or procrastination, it's easier to feel empathy when you picture their internal control tower in a state of chaos. It's not that they are deliberately ignoring your request or being disrespectful, it's that their air traffic controller is currently dealing with a 5-plane pileup on the main runway. This perspective allows us to move from frustration to support, asking, "How can I help clear the runway?" instead of "Why can't you just get it together?" This shift in perspective is the first step toward building a supportive and effective environment. Dopamine, the brain's motivation juice. Now let's talk about what fuels the workers in our brain's control tower. Meet dopamine, a crucial neurotransmitter, the brain's motivation juice, its interest fuel. Dopamine is the chemical messenger that says, "Hey, this is important and rewarding. Pay attention and get it done." When your brain releases a healthy amount of dopamine, you feel motivated, focused, ready to tackle a task. It's what makes activities feel engaging and gives you that satisfying sense of accomplishment when you complete them. For a neurotypical brain, dopamine flows relatively consistently, providing a steady supply of fuel. Boring tasks, exciting tasks, it helps you get through filing your taxes, enjoy a hobby. For many people with ADHD, the dopamine system works differently. It's not that they have less dopamine overall. The transmission and receptor system can be less efficient. This creates what feels like a chronic dopamine deficit. Imagine your brain's motivation system is a car. A neurotypical brain starts the day with a full tank of gas. The ADHD brain often starts with the fuel light already blinking. You can still drive the car, but you have to push it. Every single mile is a monumental effort. This is why mundane tasks like doing the dishes, folding laundry can feel physically and mentally draining, almost impossible to start. It's not laziness, it's running on empty. This is where the infamous, "Why can't you just try harder?" comment completely misses the mark. It's like telling someone to drive harder when their car has no fuel. They are already pushing with all their might. The struggle isn't a choice. However, the ADHD brain has a fascinating quirk. When a task is genuinely interesting, novel, or urgent, like a new video game, a passionate project, a looming deadline, the brain can suddenly flood the system with dopamine. The fuel tank magically fills up, and the car doesn't just drive, it goes into overdrive. This is the biological basis for the state of hyperfocus. This uneven flow of motivation juice explains so much. It explains why a child can't sit still for 10 minutes of math homework, but can build an intricate Lego castle for 5 hours straight. It explains why an adult can ignore a pile of bills for weeks but can then write an entire novel in a month-long burst of creative energy. The problem isn't a complete lack of focus, but rather an inability to regulate it. The on-off switch for motivation isn't manual, it's automatic, and highly dependent on interest. Understanding this helps us see that the key isn't to try harder at boring things, but to find ways to make those things more interesting, or to build systems that don't rely solely on a fuel tank that is often empty. Section 4. The flip side of the coin, hyperfocus as a superpower. For every challenge that comes with an ADHD brain, there is often a corresponding strength hiding in its shadow. The strange and wonderful twin of distractibility is hyperfocus. It sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? How can the same brain get sidetracked by a dust bunny floating in a sunbeam, and also concentrate with the intensity of a laser beam? It comes back to that motivation juice we just talked about, dopamine. When a subject truly captivates the ADHD brain, the dopamine system goes into high gear, creating tunnel vision. The rest of the world fades away. The task at hand becomes the only thing that exists. This state of intense, prolonged concentration can be a genuine superpower. Harnessed correctly, hyperfocus lets people with ADHD dive deeper, work faster, and produce incredible results in their passions. Many successful entrepreneurs, artists, scientists, athletes have ADHD. They've learned to channel hyperfocus into work, achieving breakthroughs others might not. Of course, this superpower has challenges. Hyperfocus isn't always on productive tasks. it's just as easy to hyperfocus on a video game for 12 hours, leading to neglected responsibilities, missed appointments, strained relationships. The switch is hard to control. Pulling away can be incredibly difficult even when you know you should. The key: don't suppress the trait. Learn to direct it. Create environments that channel intense focus toward meaningful goals. Learning to work with hyperfocus is a crucial skill. Use timers to break the spell. Consciously choose to engage with important projects when you feel a burst of energy. Ask a family member for a gentle nudge when it's time to transition. Recognize this trait as a powerful tool in your mental toolbox. Reframe the ADHD brain as having two modes: a scanning mode open to all stimuli, and a focus mode intensely locked on. Both have purpose. The trick is learning to be a better pilot of this incredible high-performance aircraft. Section 5. Busting the myth. It's not bad parenting, it's brain chemistry. One of the most persistent and damaging myths. It's not a real medical condition, but rather the result of bad parenting, a lack of discipline, simple laziness. This myth has caused immeasurable guilt and shame for countless families. Parents blame themselves for their child's struggles, and adults with undiagnosed ADHD spend their lives believing they are fundamentally flawed. It's time to put this myth to rest, once and for all, with clear scientific facts. ADHD is not a character issue or a parenting failure. It is a neurodevelopmental disorder with a biological basis. We must treat it as such. The evidence is overwhelming and comes from decades of research. Side-by-side simplified animated brain scans. Neurotypical versus ADHD. These differences are seen in the size, structure, activity levels of specific brain regions. Prefrontal cortex, our control tower. Basal ganglia, reward and motivation. The pathways that use neurotransmitters like dopamine, norepinephrine are also shown to function differently. This isn't a theory. It's observable, physical evidence of a different brain wiring. This scientific reality directly refutes the bad parenting theory. Supportive, structured, loving environment is incredibly important, but parenting style does not cause the condition. You cannot discipline a child into developing a different brain chemistry. In fact, parenting a child with ADHD often requires more patience, more structure, more creative strategies than parenting a neurotypical child. Parents of children with ADHD are often some of the most dedicated and hard-trying parents you will ever meet, precisely because they are navigating challenges that others may not understand. Dispelling this myth is crucial for healing. When parents understand they are not to blame, they can let go of guilt and focus their energy on what truly helps: learning, advocating for their child, implementing effective strategies. When adults with ADHD finally receive a diagnosis, they can look back on a lifetime of struggles not as personal failures, but as the symptoms of a medical condition. This understanding is liberating. It replaces shame with self-compassion and opens the door to seeking real evidence-based support. So let's be clear, ADHD is real, it is biological, and it is nobody's fault. Section 6. Working with your brain, not against it. A hopeful path forward. Discovering that you or your child has ADHD can feel overwhelming, but I want to end this conversation with a message of profound hope. Understanding your brain is the first and most liberating step on a new path. It's a journey that moves away from fighting against your own mind and toward working with its unique strengths and tendencies. This isn't about finding a cure, but about building a life that is tailored to your specific neurological blueprint. It's about giving your control tower the support systems it needs to thrive: checklists, timers, routines, reminders. These tools aren't crutches. They are the scaffolding that allows you to build a sturdy, successful life. Empowerment begins when you start to identify and lean into your strengths. If you have the gift of hyperfocus, find ways to schedule your most important work during those potential high-energy bursts. If you thrive on novelty, try to build variety into your routine or turn mundane tasks into a game. If you're a creative, out-of-the-box thinker, celebrate that. Many of the world's most innovative minds had ADHD traits. Your brain might not be built for quiet compliance in a rigid system, but it may be perfectly designed for invention, crisis management, and dynamic problem solving. Find what you love, because passion is the highest grade fuel for the ADHD brain. For parents, this journey is about becoming a coach and an advocate for your child. Your role is to provide structure, love, and unwavering belief in their potential. Help them build external systems to support their internal challenges. Visual timers, create a designated launch pad by the door for keys and backpacks. Break down chores into small, manageable steps. Most importantly, praise their effort, not just their results. Celebrate their unique gifts, boundless energy, their hilarious sense of humor, or their deep empathy. You are helping them write the operating manual for their own brain, a gift that will last a lifetime. I want to leave you with this final thought. You are not alone, and you are doing so much better than you think. An ADHD diagnosis is not a sentence. It is an explanation that opens the door to a world of strategies and self-acceptance. It's the beginning of a journey toward a more authentic and fulfilling life. So, did any of this sound familiar? I invite you to share a brain glitch moment or a strategy that works for you in the comments. By sharing our stories, we light the way for each other. Keep learning, keep trying, and be kind to yourself. You've got this. Did anything in this video resonate with your ADHD experience or your child's? Share your brain glitch moments in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on flying high with ADHD.